So, I have now something cool for you. For you, if you're interested in CatTip, I've shown you last time how to use it in IBM Cloud, OpenShift, Open Data Hub, blah blah blah. But actually, it also runs locally on your laptop. That's pretty cool. So, I will post that link into the description. But what you can see here, you can install CatTip standalone without Kubeflow pipelines or anything else into Kind. Kind is Kubernetes in Docker. So the only thing you need is Docker and kube control and Kind. So Docker is something you have to find out how to install for your operating system. I obviously recommend Linux. And then Kind and kubectl are basically two binaries. No, they are all written in Go, and it's a huge binary. It's very easy to install. So I will just walk you through the deployment later. I will just show you first what you can see here. So this is here, you can see localhost 8080 catip. That's my local catip running in Kind on Docker. And I have replicated the same experiment, this random search through MXNet hyperparameter space. So you might already recognize that from the last video. And now I actually will show you how to start from scratch. So I'm assuming you have only Docker installed on your machine. So let me actually delete the Kind cluster. And then let's just repeat all the steps one by one. And that will get you going. So now the cluster is deleted. Ignore those messages here. Those are coming from another process which I haven't redirected properly, so just ignore. So let's double check what we need to do. So you see here there is deploy sh, and let's just double check what it's doing. So it's verifying if Docker, Kind, and kubectl is there, which is the case. I mean, it's your task now to make sure you have installed it, and that's pretty simple. You create here a Kind cluster, and what it does here, it pulls an image. It pulls a Docker image. So you see here the Docker Hub org is kindest, and then there is a node. Node is the image name, and then here that's the version. I've already pulled it, so it's already in my Docker cache locally, and it will take some time. And let's double check what we need to do else. So this is a command which actually tells kubectl to use the Kind cluster which we have created on Docker. It takes some time, but it's not a big thing. Okay, still getting random error messages from another background process. My fault. I shouldn't reuse terminals. Okay, so now I just assign this command. I'm using this command to assign the Kind cluster to kubectl basically. So if I now say kubectl get nodes, then I should see the node. It's actually in state is not ready. We need to wait a little. And in parallel we can say docker ps, and then we see here we have here one container running in Docker, which is this Kind node, and everything is self-contained in one single Docker image. And I guess it's using Docker in Docker to get Kubernetes in Docker, basically. Okay, so you see here state is ready. Let's go back to the instructions. Get nodes we already did, and now we need to install catip, and it's a one-liner. That's pretty cool. And after that we can run get pods. Our command already succeeded. So you see here it's still container creating. So we have a MySQL, we have a user interface, which we can use later, which you have already seen. And I think one is just a deployment container. Okay, one is already running, so the DB manager is running. The UI is running. Search generator is running. That's completed. So that was just a deployment container, as I said. Okay. Only the controller is missing. MySQL is already running. Okay. I see here there was an error, but as Kubernetes is self-healing, this got self-healed. Yeah, okay, so then what we can do is, last time, if you remember, I just used the UI to submit an experiment, and I've imported the YAML file in the UI to just avoid a lot of typing. But what you can also do is to submit your job directly via command line, which is also here somewhere. Let me double check. This one here. This is the same experiment what we saw in the previous video. So this is now generated, and if we say get pods, you see here this is the container running the experiments, container creating still. And now we can go to the UI. So we need to do a little trick here. This is the command here, kubectl port forward SVC. So SVC is a service in the kubeflow namespace, which is called catip-ui. And then the service is listening on port 8080 and on port 80, and we map it to 8080 localhost. That's what's done here. And then in theory we should be able to just reuse that front end. Just open this URL, and then we need to select the kubeflow namespace because we submitted to kubeflow namespace, and you see here the experiment is running. I mean, it's ramping up, no? Let's double check. Yeah, still container creating. Anyway, it will take some time, but that way you can experiment with catip on kubeflow on Kubernetes locally, without cloud, without OpenShift, just on your local laptop. Pretty easy. If you have questions, just ask in the comment section, and have a lot of fun. Bye.